It is time again. We're going to take a look today at the best Ultra League Premier Cup team by ChatGPT, and we're going to see here Dragonite the first, Machamp as a second, Giratina we cannot use, but we can use Galarian and Stunfisk, and that's what we're going to use for today. Zumro is also not working, and Crosshire is also not allowed, but we at least have 3 good picks here that are all allowed, and we're just gonna go with the Dragonite, Machamp, and the Galarian Stunfisk. Let's go right into the games. This team actually worked out really well. This team worked really well. Like, honestly, I can highly recommend you to try this team out, and this is kind of funny because, of course, it's like more based on ChatGPT, but it is a team that does make a lot of sense. It's not something that's like rocket science anyway. I wouldn't really use most likely the Machamp, but it's kind of similar to a team that I also showcased prior, and also kind of similar to the team that I used for the NiRiain showcase, if you saw that video already. Otherwise, take a look at the channel. But we have here the Say-Swap of Machamp, which I wouldn't really say is the best Say-Swap, but it's still actually a pretty solid one for this team. I think I would prefer something like the Gyarados again if you didn't saw like my first video for the No XL team. I had Gyarados and the Dragonite as a backline with Ascav in the lead. Instead of Ascav here, we're going to have the Galarian Stunfisk, which is of course in full XL Pokemon, but definitely one of the strongest Pokemons out there. As we see now, Trevenant against us, where we can at least go for some Rock Slides here, trying to knock them out, as we're going to get them very, very low already, and we will be able to take this Seed Bomb, which they undercharge because they can get some extra energy here. But this still allows us to survive one move here, and they're gonna go actually for the Seed Bomb, expecting me to go into my Galarian Stunfisk, allowing me to farm them all the way down, and we see the Charizard coming in, which we can snipe with one Rock Slide here, saying goodbye to my first opponent. I went way positive with that. I actually don't really remember how I went with this team because it's been a little bit that I already recorded those battles. I record like the audio now 2 days after or something. I know that I had 2 for 1 sets. I don't know how the third set went. I know that I went for 3 sets, but I have no idea anymore. I'm just coming now to the recording of the audio, so you will see here that we're going to be able to actually go for 2 Rock Slides against this Muk, allowing us to get a shield advantage with the Machamp against a Pokemon that I usually should completely lose to, which is amazing. And our Galarian Stunfisk doesn't really care about the Dark Pulses. They can go for 2 of them. I don't mind. We will be able to take them pretty easily, and we can farm them all the way down here, having the Earthquake stored, going straight for that one against the Galarian, against the Scrafty from the opponent, doing a lot of damage and swapping out. Seeing a Slowbro. This Pokemon is a fun one. I really like playing with Slowbro. Not gonna lie, I might want to take a look at this Pokemon again. But Slowbro is definitely a spicy one here. We will see that we can go ahead and go for 1 charge move, but actually I think Slowbro is one of the Pokemon that is available for the Love Cup. Maybe I take a look at this Pokemon there. But definitely an interesting one. We see the Scrafty coming in here. It's still going to be a close one. I can go for a Dragon Claw here. We will be able to get them low, and they're actually going to let this move go through, which I feel was not the right decision by the opponent. This clue went either way there. We see a pretty neutral lead. Warren against Stunfisk. Yes, you have a super effective Rock Slide, but also the opponent has a super effective Earthquake. And you are not going to be able to win this in like the 0 shields, or I think even 1 shields. It's going to be a tough one. I'm going to shield this move up. It's going to be the Earthquake at least, which is nice. I could try to snipe them with my Machamp if I'm going to be able to hit another move here, which I'm going to try to do here, and sadly the opponent was too fast. But what the opponent also has here is another Ice type in the back with the Ninetales. This will allow us to get the shield back, which we just used. We can go for another charge move here. This will get them very low. And they're going to no-shield this one this time around, but I'm just going to let the move go through as well. It has to be a Dazzling Beam. It will be a Dazzling Beam, which will also allow me to get more energy now with my Galarian Stunfisk. They're going to be able to get to another move here. Maybe should have thrown earlier, but still, I have a ton of energy now. I have 99 energy. I'm gonna go for my Rock Slide, and this Rock Slide will be enough to knock out the opponent. Seeing the Warren came back in here, I'm going to shield this move up. I should have maybe swapped out and tried to snipe him with my with my Dragonite here, but we see now the opponent going into a Charizard, and this Charizard will not like to face the Rock Slides here. Very weak team, I guess, against the Rock-type Pokemon, but we will be able to go for another Rock Slide here against the opponent as well. And this will be a very good game there. Good game to my opponent. Next on, we're going to see the Stunfisk against the Venusaur. Venusaur going to be a very strong Pokemon in general against this team. I don't really like the matchup against the Stunfisk, but what I'm usually going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and go for an Earthquake. If I get the shield, that's amazing. If I don't get the shield, it's also okay, but I do get the shield here. What I do now is I'm going to go into my Machamp because even though our counter is resisted and we only have like a neutral move with the Rock Slide there, the counter you see already going to get them so low that they're kind of forced to swap out here. We will be able to go for some cross chops here against the opponent's Lanturn, which is going to be nice. They're getting really low though, and I think I can survive one serve, and we will be able to survive one serve, and I will be able to go for another move here. Can we farm them down? That's the question, and we will be able to go still for another charge move though. That's fine. We couldn't farm them down there, but we will be able to go for another charge move, get the final shield by the opponent, and I can go ahead and go into my Dragonite, allowing me to farm them all the way down, but sadly we will see now the Walrein coming in, which has to take one big superpower here, allowing us to swap out. They're going to swap out at the same time. I should be fine here. But then again, maybe not. I don't know. We will be able to go ahead and go for one shield, one move here, which is going to be the Rock Slide. But in hindsight, I should have just tried to farm, like do less damage there basically. I had to no shield because the opponent had to move on the Walrein. They had more than 1 HP left, so I wouldn't be able to snipe them with a Dragon Breath. So I had to undercharge the Rock Slide. Was my only chance of winning this game. Sadly, I didn't do that, so fair play to my opponent winning that one. We see a Kingdra in the lead here, which is an interesting one. I'm going to go for one move here, which is actually not debuffing me, which is something that I usually don't see. We have a pretty decent matchup with the backline. I'm just going to go for another one. If they want to shield, I would swap out, but they don't want to shield. And I swap out here on a move, like on a Pokemon that I shouldn't have swapped out. This was a mistake. We see now here the Talonflame coming in. We're going to be able to go for one cross chop at least here, which will allow me to do some damage against them. They're actually going to no shield. This is a wild. I can go ahead and go for another charge move here. They're going to no shield again, and they're going to go into their Charizard. Like, this is not looking good here. Like, this is really not looking good. I will be able to go for another cross chop and get them low, but like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. I will be able to go into my Dragonite. I have to try to catch the move here. Let's see. We will be able to catch the move, which is going to be a Dragon Claw, which is nice for us. But then again, I don't know how we can win this game. We will be able to go for one Rock Slide. There's a Rock Slider will get the shield from the opponent, and we will see that they have to throw another Dragon Claw. They have a lot of energy. They are most likely at 100 energy right now, and I have to farm them down here. I will be able to let this move go through. This is my only chance, and I will be able to farm them down. And now it's just a farm down from the Talonflame. They don't have 2 moves. They only have 1 move here, and we actually will be able to still win this game there because we let the Dragon Claw go through. A Brave Bird would have done more damage, so that's going to be a good game there. Next opponent, Ampharos in the lead, basically the best Pokemon I want to wish for, and I will be able to go for one Rock Slide here as well. If I hit this, I swap out because I have 2 shield anyway, and here I'm just going to shield my Dragonite. Dragonite going to still do a lot of damage against the Ampharos, and also I don't really want to be stuck in the matchup against the Galarian Stunfisk against the Dragonite there. We have a shield disadvantage, but I don't really care too much as I'm going to be able to get them lower. We have also a Pokemon advantage now, as well as we're going to be able to get to another move here. So whatever they have in the back, they're actually going to get the shield back as well. Like, it's looking amazing for us so far. There's not a lot that really can happen here that would throw us off. We will be able to go into our Stunfisk. They're gonna go for one Brutal Swing most likely, which is fine. And we see a Tangrowth? A Tangrowth in the back. This is definitely not what I expected. It's actually a pretty strong Pokemon though. This Pokemon has a pretty decent amount of bulk there. I think a little bit bulkier than a Venusaur. Has also Wind Whip, but has a Rock Slide, which is actually kind of interesting pick for this current meta because you see a lot of Charizard, which you will be able to, I think, in one shot, especially if they're Shadow. So it might actually be a decent pick here as they're going to be able to knock me out there. I'm going to be able to knock them out here. And they only have an Ampharos left, which has basically 0 HP, so they're going to forfeit anyway. That's going to be a good game. Again, very good lead for me though. Let's see what we're going to see next. We're going to see a Chesnaught. Here we see a horrible lead, and in general a horrible matchup. It's going to be a Wind Whip version as well. But because they want to Wind Whip me all the time here, I'm going to whip back with our Cross Chop. Going to be able to get the shield from the opponent, and we can deploy a shield here as well, as we're going to see that they're going to go for the Frenzy Plant, which takes a little bit more energy than Superpower, but allows us to go for another Cross Chop, forcing the final shield by my opponent, which is amazing for me. Can go for another shield as I'm going to be able to realign no matter what, and they're going to swap out into a Steelix. That's something I didn't really expect to happen here. I should just stay in here, not gonna lie, and I'm going to stay in here, which allows me to now farm them down with my Galarian Stunfisk. At least that's what I want to do. I don't know if I actually did it, but I think I'm gonna do it here. And they don't get to an Earthquake. This shouldn't be an Earthquake. Please don't be an Earthquake. It's not an Earthquake. It's Psychic Phase. And I will be able to get a ton of energy now. We see the Chesnaught coming in. I can farm them down. And they're going to forfeit. Goodbye there. Next opponent. Let's see. We're going to see Stunfisk against the Gyarados. Gyarados is going to be an interesting matchup. I think you win this Stunfisk. just because you do around like 48% with a Rock Slide, as you're going to see here, and you will be able to outspeed them. You might lose in the zero shields though, which going to be a little bit tricky, but they're going to be able to go for another charge move here. You're going to win in any other shield scenario anyway, and you would be able to also swap out into your Machamp to try to snipe the final HP, because you do a little bit more damage with the counter damage than with the Mudshot damage. But speaking of Mudshot damage, I think the Drapion here doesn't like the Mudshot damage too much, so we're going to go for one Earthquake, and I think I even can take this move here. It's going to be the Crunch anyway. Doesn't knock me, gets a defense drop, and we can go for the next Earthquake here, knocking them out with our Dragonite there, because they had 1 HP left. We can snipe them with that thing. They're still going to get to another move here. I'm just going to let this move go through, because yes, it's a Crunch, and they don't even get the debuff. I can knock them out. But now we have a shield advantage Machamp, and there's basically nothing in the meta that can deal with that, unless your name is Charizard. And this is going to be a tough one, because this is going to be not something that you really want to face here, but I can still go for one charge move, and this charge move going to be the Cross Chop, doing a lot of damage. I can go ahead and shield up the move. It's going to be the Dragon Claw, and they are already at another Dragon Claw, and I can snipe that with my Galarian Stunfisk. Actually, a Blast Burn coming through, get wrecked there, and we will be able to just farm them all the way down. Bye-bye trainer. We'll see the next opponent coming up here. We're going to see the Venusaur again. We do the same stuff as we did before. We're just going to go ahead and go for an Earthquake. Earthquake, most likely going to get shielded. If they want to shield it, I'm happy with that. I will be able to do a lot of damage with counter, which is just what I kind of want to do anyway. And I will put them into range where on Rock Slide will knock them out later on. So I am fine here. We have the shield advantage now, which we're going to give up now again, especially as they need less farm to get to the next move. And I actually underestimate their farm for this one here. Thought they would need a little bit more, but I guess it's fine. We see an Ampharos coming in. I guess this is not as fine. We will be able to go ahead and go for one Cross Chop here, but they kind of want to get rid of the Ampharos anyway, so we're going to go ahead and go for one Cross Chop, and I have to go for another one, because otherwise they go for one Thunder Punch, which would knock us out. Like this, we will be able to knock them out, and we're most likely going to see again the Venusaur coming in, where we can go ahead and go into our Dragonite, because they should be locked into this matchup for now, as they threw some moves before. And they're going to go ahead and go into a Stunfest. It's going to be an interesting matchup. I like this one. It's going to be a fun one. We will see the opponent going for the shield already against the Superpower Smart Shield there, but not enough to deny my second one here. The second one going to put them into a very close range for me to go for one Cross Chop to knock them out. But I kind of have to rely on my Machamp here, right? We're going to go ahead and go into our Stunfisk, and just like they're going to be able to get to the move in time. I thought I could snipe them, but I couldn't snipe them. This looks bad now. They're going to go for the Earthquake. They're going to knock me out, but I still have to knock out 2 Pokemon. And we can go for the Rock Slide though. Can we outspeed the opponent's Galarian Stunfisk? We can go for the Rock Slide here, and we can actually still get to the Earthquake, winning us this game as well. Very good game, very close one. Into the next one, which might actually be the final, I don't know. Horrible lead. Horrible lead. We can swap out, and this is going to be a horrible save swap for us as well. We're going to be able to force some shields here, I would say. I don't think they're going to, like, they should shield. Yeah, okay, they're going to shield here as well. I could shield, but there's no real point for shielding there. They can just get more farm. But I will be able to go ahead and go into my own Galarian Stunfisk. I shouldn't shield here, and I'm going to no shield here, which is good, because I need basically to rely on my Dragonite, but this might be a hard counter, as they might have something like a Warren in the back. They do, and I can just top left. There's nothing I can do against the Warren at this point. I can go for the bait here, of course, try to go for the Dragon Claw, but honestly, like, what's supposed to happen here? The sad thing here is Dragonite will not be able to knock them out with one superpower, which would be the only way of me winning this, and I'm still going to try, but like, yeah, at this point of time, there's not a lot that I can do. I can try to farm them all the way down. But one Earthquake is not enough to knock out the Charizard, the Swampert from this range where they are. And they actually get to another one. I'm just going to let this move go through, because the Swampert has energy anyway, so it does not matter. Final game, we're going to see the Dragonite on the lead. Again, a lead that is kind of okay, but I actually don't really like to see that one. We see them swapping out, though, into an Umbreon. This matchup is not as good as you might think it is. Umbreon in the Ultra League is one of the bulkiest Pokemon. This thing just tanks everything, and I kind of misplay though, because I should be able to still survive one move, I think, here, but of course I survive with 1 HP. I think I would also survive Last Resort with 1 HP, but I'm going to be able to get some extra energy here, which is nice. I should get my shields back against the Dragonite because I know one big Rock Slider would knock them out straight away, and they're gonna go ahead and throw their own charge move here, which I am not fine with. I'm going to go ahead and go for my own Rock Slide now because I kind of want to get that damage on them. As we see the shield coming up, I can just go ahead, let them farm me down. I expect them to go ahead and swap out, and so I'm going to go for my own Earthquake here. I can swap out into my own Dragonite, and I hopefully can farm them down to go for one Dragon Claw against the opponent's Dragonite. As we see the foul play coming through, we have to throw our charge move soon as well here because they're going to get too much energy here, as we will be able to knock them out. Can we get to the final Dragon Claw? We can, and this is going to seal the deal. We're going to be able to win this final game. If you enjoyed this video again with ChatGPT, then leave a like on the video, and I hope I see you next video. Bye.